You're watching Chicago's very own WGN News.
Still ahead this morning, we're talking pet safety this 4th of July with Dr. Tony.
All right, well, if you are a dog owner, pay attention here because 4th of July this weekend,
Yes.
and it is so difficult for dog owners because those fireworks go off and the dogs freak out. Dr. Tony's here with a little bit of advice and a little bit of, what do we say, a little medicine.
A solution
for
to the problem. Hopefully,
Solution,
yes.
the man with the answers.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's something that is such a common problem. We talked about both of our pets having the same issue, being afraid of thunderstorms, being afraid of fireworks. They say that 1 out of every 3 dogs suffers from noise aversion, which is basically a fear of fireworks, loud machinery,
Right.
basically thunder and stuff. And so in the past, we've always been able to try to mitigate this by either putting them on antidepressants like Zoloft or Xanax, which really didn't work that well, or giving them a sedative that basically knocked them out, which would help the anxiety, but then you have a pet for the entire day who's zonked
Kinda out
out
of it,
and
yeah.
not themselves.
Yeah.
So anyway, bottom line on this is that this medication is a mild sedative. It's the first FDA product made to solve this problem, and I think it's going to be amazingly helpful for these dogs who suffer with this.
Okay, so explain how this works. Do they take the dog into the vet's office on the 4th of July? Is it something
Nope,
you give it to them?
They need to get a prescription of it. It is basically a little syringe of a gel, a transmucosal gel that you just squirt in their mouth. It takes about a half an hour, maybe 20 minutes to half an hour to work. So you just kind of, right at the start of the problem, you give it to them. You have pretty quick results, and it can last for hours. And so
does it knock the pet out?
they
Maybe
shouldn't
fall
see.
asleep,
They
or
should
no?
not see any signs of sedation at all with this. It just takes the edge off. It's like I said, it's a very low dose subclinical sedative and super safe. When we were giving older pets, especially sedatives, we always worried about the safety factor. This is very safe, and I said very effective in just kind of taking the edge off, that they just don't care about the noise so much. Very easy to administer. You squirt this between their cheek and gum, and as far as cost goes, a tube like this is going to run, I'm going to say, round it off to somewhere around $30. And it depends on the size of the dog. A lot of the dogs that have this problem are small, so they get way more doses out of that syringe of medication, maybe 5 or 6. And maybe a 50-pound dog would get a couple of doses out of that deal, just to give somebody an idea how much it would run. But it's a prescription drug. You need to see your veterinarian. Not all vets had this yet. This is very new. I put a link on our website, animalcareinfo.com, to give people more information, and then get in touch with our hospitals to talk more about what it takes to get their pet prescribed this. So we talked about the solution first before the problems.
No, that's fine. No, we want to get right to it. We also want to get through a couple other tips here for this weekend here. I believe we have some tips you want to walk us through here. So avoid heat stroke, keep pets indoors here.
I think the biggest thing at this time, I mean, summer's in full swing. Sounds like we got a good forecast for today in the 70s, but this 90-degree weather is tough on pets. Pets, we've talked about this before, they don't have sweat glands like we do. They don't adjust to the heat nearly as well. Keep your pet hydrated. Make sure we keep them out of the extreme heat. All the things that surround heat stroke are worse if they're stressed out with things like noise aversion. So I want to keep them in the house, make sure that they're calm down so that they don't wind up with heat stroke. It is the most common reason pets are brought into the animal hospital. And in the summertime, one of the most common reasons that pets pass away from this bad deal. I say keep them indoors because many pets get lost during the 4th of July because they're afraid of the fireworks.
So they start kind of running around.
You know, they just take off, and they're just freaked out. And so make sure your pet's microchipped, has an ID tag, and let's try to keep them in the house as much as we can in the air conditioning when the heat really gets up there.
All right. Thank
Always
you,
good advice,
Dr.
Dr. Tony. Really appreciate you being here.
So
Be
much.
sure to check out Dr. Tony online, animalcareinfo.com, for more information. Also active on Twitter.